Hello, St. Marians. Once again, we are here in the civics classes, and today we are going to discuss the topic power and functions of Rajya Sabha and Lok Sabha. If we are discussing about in matter of power, then both the houses are having their own specialty. For example, that in a financial matter, Lok Sabha is superior to Rajya Sabha, so that money bill can originate only in Lok Sabha. And in other matters like UPSC, Rajya Sabha is superior than Lok Sabha. And in case of national emergency also, Rajya Sabha works as the parliament while Lok Sabha is dismissed. So we can say so that both are having their own importance. But if we are having the joint sitting, then Lok Sabha, which is having more number of members, can be dominated over Rajya Sabha. So both are co-partners. Constitutionally, they are having the equal rights. In some matters, Lok Sabha is superior, some matters Rajya Sabha is superior. But here we are not discussing about that comparison or that differences between Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha powers. We are discussing that powers of parliament, means as a parliament, as a legislature, whatever that powers are there with the Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha. So we are going to discuss in this series. The first topic is legislative powers. So if we are discussing about legislative powers, that all the bills other than the money bills can originate in the any house of parliament, means either we can originate in Rajya Sabha or Lok Sabha, but money bill can be originated only in Lok Sabha. And if the president may summon both the houses of the parliament in a joint meeting in case if there is a deadlock or in case of any important matter. So in joint sitting, the issues are decided by the majority vote. It is not a matter that Rajya Sabha or Lok Sabha. So in favor, if more voting is there, then particular bill is passed. So if we are discussing about legislative powers, then we can say so that both houses are having near about uh, same power, or we can say that we have discussed already before that they are co-partners. But here once again I would like to say that we have to discuss that whatever that combined powers of Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha. So we are discussing first topic is matters in the union list. So we all know that 97 subjects are mentioned in the union list, and those subjects belong to the defense, communication, foreign policy, and financial matters of the country. And these matters, union parliament is having the power to make law, and they can have amendment in these matters. So we can say so that matters in the union list which are mentioned can be taken care by the parliament. It is not the matter of Lok Sabha or Rajya Sabha. So they can make the law in union list. Second one, we are going to discuss matters in concurrent list. So if we are discussing about concurrent list, so what is concurrent list? In which that both uh, union government and state governments can make the law. That list is known as concurrent list. So we can say so the parliament can make laws on 47 subjects listed in the concurrent list, and if there is a conflict between union and state parliament, then state legislature on any law in this list, then union law will prevail. What does it mean? It means that the same law is made by state government and the union government. So in that case, that law of union government will be prevailed in place of state government. So state government is not effective in that case if both matters sorry if in same matter both parliament has made the law, either the state house, state legislature, or union legislature. So in that case only union legislature law will be dominate. Next matter we are going to discuss residuary power. So residuary power means power to make law it means that parliament is having the supreme power to make law in any matter. In any matter means parliament is having the power to amend the constitution, to make the law in the state list, union list and concurrent list. So all these powers are in the hand of legislature. So we can say so that either that state list, union list or concurrent list, all these lists that union government or union legislature is having to make laws. So next point number 4 we are going to discuss here, matters in state list. So while emergency is there in any state, then we can make the law through the national parliament, or central parliament can make the law for the state government during the proclamation of emergency. And second one, then Rajya Sabha passes a resolution by 2/3 majority that subjects in the state list, and that is applicable for every state. So once again I am repeating that by 2/3 majority, if any amendment or if any law is being passed in Rajya Sabha, then that is applicable for every state. So in a state list, any amendment or any law is being made by Rajya Sabha by 2/3 majority is applicable for all the states. So the next point is when two or more states are in the opinion that parliament should legislate on a subject given in the state list. So if any state thinks so that any law should be there in the state list, and more than two states are agree on that one, that central government should make the law, or that union legislature should make the law, then according to constitution, that union parliament can make the law on that matter also, and that is applicable for particular state. So one more thing I want to mention here, that parliament may make an act that's on that subject, but that would be applicable on only to the consenting states. Means that if few states want any special law, then they can recommend to that union parliament, and that law may be made, and that act is applicable only on those states, not all the states. So these are the three conditions when union government can make the law to the state government. So next one, fifth point we are going to discuss, ordinance. So any ordinance is given, or let me explain what is ordinance. Ordinance is that order of written order of president, which is applicable when both the house are not in session. So president can promulgate the ordinance when parliament is not in session, but as soon as that Rajya Sabha or Lok Sabha or both the house should be in session, within 6 weeks that ordinance should be passed in the assembly. Otherwise that ordinance is not applicable. So we can say so that if president has to pass any ordinance, that should be passed in the house, and that must be passed within 6 weeks when the house will be in the session. Otherwise that ordinance will declared null and void by the Supreme Court. So we can say so that if assembly is if union parliament is not in session, in that case we can make that ordinance, or central government can use that power to issue the ordinance through the president. But whenever this house will come in session, within 6 weeks that must be approved, otherwise it will declare null and void by the Supreme Court. So next we are going to discuss power during the emergency. So in case of total breakdown of constitutional machinery in a state, so what will happen, that state legislature is not working. In that case central legislature or union parliament is having the right to make the law for that particular state, and parliament becomes legislature for the state in that case. And in case of financial emergency, including that financial powers are also in the hand of union parliament. So these were the powers during the emergency. Means in case of constitutional breakdown of machinery in any state, central parliament is working as the state parliament. So all the financial rights are in the hand of this union parliament. Next topic we are going to discuss financial power of Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha. So we can say so that which kind of powers are having in the hand of Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha. As I told you before, that Lok Sabha is the only house where we can originate any money bill, and that must be sent to the Rajya Sabha for the recommendation, and within 14 days, with or without the recommendation, it should be given back to the Lok Sabha. Or Lok Sabha is not bonded to follow that advice of Rajya Sabha in case of money bills. So we can say so that both the houses are having importance in case of money bills, but Lok Sabha is more powerful than Rajya Sabha in case of money bill. So now we are going to discuss that whatever the financial powers of both the house together, not individually. So first one is budget. So budget of that government or union budget, which is passed by that both the houses for a financial year, and that must be passed in the parliament. So we can say so that even a single rupee central government cannot expend without the permission of parliament or union parliament. So we can say so that budget of central government is issued by parliament, or we can indirectly we can say so that all that money which is spent by that union government is in the hand that is passed by the parliament. And one more thing I want to mention here, that before few years we were having two budgets, railway budget as well as general budget separate, but now we are having one budget only. The railway budget is not kept separate in the house. So next one we are going to discuss supplementary grants. So what are supplementary grants? Let me read the statement first. If the amount authorized for the current financial year is not sufficient, the government may make a fresh demand known as supplementary grant. So let me explain this concept. I have told you about the budget, and if that resources which are provided in the budget are not sufficient for financial year, then government can go for some fresh demands, and that is known as supplementary grants. So government can ask to, or parliament can ask for some more grants from that government, that is known as supplementary grant. So once again I want to make it clear that suppose budget is passed in that house, and that is near about 1000 crore rupees, but that 1000 crore rupees is not sufficient till the end of that financial session. So what will happen? Parliament can go for supplementary grants to fulfill the need of that government task which is provided for financial year. Next one, vote on account. So vote on account and supplementary grants both are having near about same concept, and many students are confused in that one. So let me explain first a statement. If the union budget is not passed before the beginning of the going to discuss that it there would be no money for executive to spend. So previously the case was there, budget was passed, and it was not sufficient for that government work. In second case, vote on account, the matter is little bit different. Means budget has not been passed. It may be due to that government is not there. It may be that government has lose the majority. It may be that fresh election not held. So in all these cases, we need some money for spending by the executive. So what is done there? That demand is kept in the house, that is known as vote on account, and executive or authorities have to draw the funds from the consolidated fund of India until the budget is not passed, or whenever the budget will come in the house, that fund will be added in the budget. So that is vote on account and supplementary grant. So don't be confused in supplementary grant and vote on account. I would like to tell once again, Vote on account is passed when budget is not passed till the given date which is kept in the house. And supplementary grant are those grant when budget is passed already and it is not enough for financial need, then we need supplementary grant. Next topic we are going to discuss about salaries. So the salaries and allowances of MPs and ministers are determined by the parliament. So whenever that MPs and ministers want to increase their salary, so they can increase by majority votes, and all are having that same vote in that case because they have to get the benefit. So salaries are decided by the parliament and it depends on the ministers as well as MPs of the house. So next one, permissions for taxes. So it is also very clear that government is imposing some taxes and sometime government is giving subsidies too. So whenever the government has to impose taxes, they can impose with the help of parliament. So parliament is having the right to impose taxes, and first it should be originated in Lok Sabha and then it must be passed by Rajya Sabha. So money bill can introduce only in Lok Sabha, then it will go to Rajya Sabha, and within 14 days they will give it back, and the new recommendation may be issued by the government of India if bill is passed by both the houses. Thank you for today and keep on watching that online classes.